Hey kids, Miss Lisa here. How are you? Good. Are you practicing that memory verse? I know we did an extra part of the memory verse last week, so I hope you saw that video and you're practicing every day from the very beginning all the way to the end. We're getting very close to the end, and pretty soon, if you can say the whole thing, you get the big prize. I know it's a lot, but you'll get it. I know you'll get it. Okay. So this week is Bible story week. All right. Miss Lisa's going to tell you the Bible story this week. And this week we're going to talk about heroes. Kind of a fun thing to talk about, right? So my first question, I guess, would be, what is a hero? But I think it's easier for us to answer that question after we talk about some heroes, right? So when you hear the word hero, who do you think of? A lot of people, the first time they hear that, think about superheroes, right? There are so many now. There's tons of superheroes, and there's all sorts of movies about them. I have a couple just here to show you. So the first one from when I was a kid, the biggest superhero was always Superman. He was like the biggest, best superhero ever. I don't know that he is anymore because there's so many other ones, but Superman was considered a hero. And then other superheroes that have had movies and stuff are Batman, right? He's sometimes called a hero because he's a superhero. And then we don't want to leave the women out, right? We have Wonder Woman. She was a great superhero with her lasso and all the different strong things she could do. She was a great hero. That's a lot of times what people think of when you say hero, superheroes. But there are other types of heroes. And some of my favorite heroes are not even people. Oh, can you imagine what that might be? Let me tell you one. This is actually a real hero. This dog is named Chopper. Chopper is an army dog. And you know how dogs can smell things that we can't smell? That's like their superpower. Well, Chopper uses his superpower of smell to sniff out bombs. So Chopper actually went to war in Afghanistan with our soldiers, and he would go out into the fields before they would go there with their cars and their trucks and their troops, and he would sniff the ground to see if there were bombs that had been planted there. And when he would find one, he would bark and let the people know so that they would know not to go there and they wouldn't get blown up. Chopper is so amazing at his job that they actually retired him from the army. And now he works, guess where he works? At JFK Airport, right here in New York City. The big airport down in New York City. He actually sniffs luggage and boxes and things that are being shipped to make sure there aren't any bombs in them so that, people can't blow up planes. Chopper is a real hero, even though he's not a person. You knew I was going to throw a dog in there, right? I had to. That's just me. So, all right. So let's talk about who your heroes are. Who is your hero? A lot of times when people ask kids who their heroes are, one of the first things they'll answer is a sports star. So we have a lot of heroes that play sports, right? LeBron James in basketball, or there's all sorts of other ones. Tom Brady in football. Oh, sorry, had to do that because I don't like Tom Brady. And Aaron Judge in baseball, right? There's a lot of sports heroes, and so many times that's what kids will answer. Their hero will be a sports person, but sometimes maybe their hero is an actress or a singer, or maybe even somebody who's really smart and has created or invented things like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, who work with personal computers and made like personal computers the most famous thing ever. So those are sometimes the heroes that we mention. I'm going to tell you who my hero is. And you've probably never heard of him because Miss Lisa's a little bit old. But my hero is Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter was a United States president back in the 70s. Oof, that's a long time ago. And there are some people that think he was a pretty bad president. They think he didn't do a very good job as president. I disagree. I think he did a pretty good job. You know why? When Jimmy Carter was president, we were in no wars the 4 years that he was president. We were not in one war the whole time. There was not one person who died from the United States in a war. I think that's pretty impressive. So Jimmy Carter, after he left the presidency, did a lot of really, really impressive things. He worked for peace. All the time after his presidency, he would go to countries that were at war and try to help them make peace between them so they wouldn't war anymore. He went to countries that didn't usually have free and open voting elections, and he would monitor their elections and teach people why it was important that they vote. He went to other countries and he helped them eliminate disease. He's very famous for going to Africa and helping them eliminate a disease there that was killing people. He's also famous for working with a group called Habitat for Humanity, and he builds houses for people who don't have any place to live. So even though sometimes people think maybe he wasn't a really great president, he's my hero because he did all sorts of important things. Maybe not when he was president, but certainly after he was. And that's why he's my hero. So if you ever hear his name, that's what you can remember him by. All the very impressive things he did that make him my hero. All right. So now we'll have a better opportunity to define the word hero. I have it right here. Ready? Hero. A person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. All right, so let's pick out some of the people we just talked about and see if they fit the definition of hero. So somebody who has courage. Well, I'm going to go right to Chopper the dog, right? He's got great courage. He goes out there into the fields where there's bombs planted and sniffs them out and tells them where they are. That takes courage. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go out there if I thought there were bombs out there. I would be like, nope, send somebody else. I don't have that kind of courage. What's the other thing? Outstanding achievement. Well, certainly the sports stars we talked about have made outstanding achievements, right? Because they hold records in all of the sports that they do. That's pretty impressive. When they have like the most baskets or the most home runs, that's impressive. And then what's the final one? Noble qualities. What does that mean? Well, a good example of that is Jimmy Carter. He had very noble qualities. He worked for peace and for equal rights and human rights and to keep people healthy and strong and living in places where it was difficult to be healthy. Those are noble qualities. So that's the best way, I guess, to define our heroes, by looking at who we think a hero is and seeing what their characteristics are. So today in our story, we're going to learn about a hero. Actually, we're going to learn about two heroes. We're going to learn about Joshua and his friend Caleb, who were heroes of the Old Testament. Now, to tell the story, I have to say, my dogs have asked for the week off. They were tired. They've been acting and doing the memory verse and the stories, and they were like, Mom, we just can't do it this week. We're exhausted. Can you find somebody else to tell the story? So I did. And this week we have special guest actors for our story. Guess who it is? No, it's not. It's not Mr. Jim. The teenagers of the church are going to act out our story for us. And boy, do they have a clever way to tell the story of Joshua and Caleb and the other 10 spies. Let's watch.
During the time of our travel out of Egypt came a point where we needed to explore and scout out the land to see if it was safe. The Lord commanded me to send each leader of the tribes out to Canaan. I had them find out whether the people in the land are strong or weak, few or many. Is the land they live in good or bad? Are they protected or not? Is there good soil for growing plants, or is there not? I made sure to have the leader of the Israelite tribes bring back some fruit from their travels, as it would have been the perfect season. They explored the land from the desert of Zin as far as Rehob toward Lebo Hamath, through the Negev and to Hebron. They found grapes at the valley of Eshcol, along with some pomegranates and figs. By the end of 40 days, they returned from their exploration. They reported to my brother Aaron and I, along with the whole Israelite community. They showed the fruit of the land and gave an account of their travels. They described the land, flowing of milk and honey, but said that the people in the land were awfully powerful and their cities were very protected. Caleb, one of the spies who scouted the land before the leaders, spoke. He recommended taking possession of the land, for it was surely possible. But the others thought that it would not be possible, believing the Canaanites to be stronger. The land before us was filled with people of great size, and it seemed that we were like grasshoppers under them. That night, our people grumbled against not only I and Aaron, but even against the Lord. They cried out, wishing that they had stayed in Egypt rather than being saved. Joshua, the other spy who had followed along with Caleb, said that the Lord would lead us into the land and would give it to us. The Lord was and always is with us, and we are not supposed to rebel against the Lord. Even after, the people planned to turn on us and return. The Lord was angered by this. Even after all of his work and the signs performed, his chosen people refused to believe. Not one of the people who grumbled against the Lord were able to see the promised land. Their children would be brought into the land that their parents had rejected so that they could enjoy it fully themselves. The Lord is abounding in love and slow to anger, but he does not leave the guilty unpunished.
What did you think about that story? That was really well done, wasn't it? The teenagers did a great job acting it out. I thought it was great. In fact, it was so great, I hope that they come back and do another story for us, don't you? Yeah, I bet. So let's talk really quickly about Joshua and Caleb. Why do we think Joshua and Caleb were heroes? Well, remember, a hero is courageous and brave. And Joshua and Caleb had to be courageous and brave enough to stand up and say what they thought. Right? The other 10 spies were like, no, there's no way we can do this. And Joshua and Caleb were brave enough to say, I think we can. I think we can take the land. That takes a lot of courage sometimes, right? Have you been in that situation? Where all of your friends are saying one thing, but you're thinking maybe you should say something differently? What if they want to do something that probably isn't right? It takes courage and bravery to stand up and say, I don't think we should do that. And then tell them what the right thing to do is. That takes a lot of courage. Sometimes it's easier just to say, all right, I'll just go along with you guys. Joshua and Caleb didn't say that. They said what they thought. You know the other reason they're heroes? Because they put their trust in God. They knew that God was going to help them take the land. He had said that he was going to give them that land, and they believed it. They believed God with all their heart. So that takes some courage too, right? When everybody else is not believing in God and you are, very, very courageous. There's a verse in a couple books later that talks about being courageous and being a hero. I'm going to read it for you. Ready? Joshua 1:4. Be strong and courageous, and do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That's a great superhero verse, isn't it? I think it's pretty much the best superhero verse in the whole Bible, because it talks about being strong and courageous and relying on God because he's going to help you. So we're going to call that the superhero verse. I miss you guys. I hope you liked our story today. That was really fun. Keep practicing your memory verse. I'll be back to tell you another story next month. All right? Have a great week. Bye.